Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of 10 Forward Weekly. I am your host. My name is Mike Fadum, and I am joined by a familiar face and a man being eaten by a snake. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Jeremy Randall and Ian Richards. Say hello, folks.
What's up, guys?
Hi, Internet.
How y'all
I'm back.
doing? Jeremy's been sucked into a galaxy. Ian's being eaten by a snake, as I said already, so it's good.
Yeah.
This is your pet snake, Ian, right? That you have at
Yeah,
home?
it's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you said he's like 7 feet long now?
He's much bigger now, yeah. He's a growing boy.
I said 7 foot, and my brain immediately went into we don't talk about Bruno. But anyway. So yeah, we are here to talk about one of the new ships that we're going to be announcing tonight. This is the ship that will be in the upcoming lockbox coming out with the anniversary. And without further ado, or making people wait any longer, wha-bam! My God, she's a big girl. Ian, what am I looking at here? What ship is this?
This is the Emerald Train's giant dreadnought, the Viridian.
Yep.
Straight up. It's
straight
the
up.
one that we saw in the last season of Discovery.
Yep, the ship that was big enough that Book was flying around it in his ship and like it was a fighter run.
Right, the one that swallowed Discovery.
Yeah.
Just with one side of it.
Well,
Yeah.
even though it's this big in our game, isn't this only like 1/3 the actual size? Or something?
It is smaller
Yeah.
than the Scream one, yeah. But it's still going to be our biggest ship in the game by far.
Yeah. We have not tested running 5 of these in the breach, but I'm sure someone will.
Now they're narrower than, say, the J.
Yeah, it's true.
So they'll fit.
Yeah.
They'll fit. You just cram them in there.
I don't think it'll be fun, but it'll work.
Many people are very excited for this ship. This is an interesting design. I didn't realize, because if you look at it right here, I mean, you can kind of see that this section off here is floating, but I didn't realize on the show that the whole ship is completely 2 separate halves that float along each other. There's a really cool shot in the video Weston made where you kind of fly through like this. That's what originally tipped me off. That's neat. So when you're designing a ship with that much floating parts and that much like differentiate, what do you have to do to make sure the parts like stay together? Is there like invisible geo with no collision there holding them together, or?
Yeah, well, thankfully, like in the world of 3D video games, where we don't have to actually attach things physically to each other, we can tie things together in space. So two objects can be floating next to each other, and they'll just stay connected as long as we tell them to stay connected.
Oh, that's nice.
They'll stay the same distance apart, the whole 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So this ship is 3 major parts. To the front spear thing you see there, and then the 2 larger halves in the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't have to do anything at all actually to keep them together. That's the nice thing about
That is very nice.
3D art.
So we're going to show off the cool thing in a minute. I'm very excited to show them all the cool thing. But let's talk a little bit about the design of this ship. So this is an Orion Syndicate ship, and it was an original design from Discovery. When you got the model, was it the full detailed, like, here's everything you need model, or was there a lot of extrapolation that you were doing?
This was one of the odd ones that we got that had everything we needed.
That's awesome.
It had all the parts. It had all the textures for it, and even a ship like that's this big, even artists that can do things a little more freely for like movies and stuff and TV shows, the techniques they used to make this ship are a lot like the techniques we used.
That's really cool.
They used repeating textures because it's easier to work with those, right? They use simple shapes rather than really tons of organic shapes. And this you can see this ship is almost entirely like lots of flat surfaces at different angles.
Yeah, tons of triangles, no booleans here.
Right. Yep. Just layer. Yeah.
Didn't you have to clean up some missing bits?
There were some holes. The ship is a lot hollow.
Like that one? Is that a hole?
It is. But there were other holes that led you right into the ship, and that they happen in cinema level models all the time because the camera will never see those holes, so you don't have to worry about finishing and the fine details, right? But we want the players to look at every part of the ship, so we're gonna have to show them everything. So we had to fill some holes and fill some gaps, but it's other than those little things, it is true to the show.
That's awesome. When you get the models, it doesn't, well, even if it has the texture on it, you have to kind of recreate the texture for our game.
Right.
What's that
right.
process like?
Yeah, well, in this case, a lot of the textures they used were already what we call tiling textures, which are textures that if you put a copy of that texture next to itself, it'll look seamless, right? You can't tell where the edge is, right? And so they did a lot of that. So thankfully, I just pulled straight from it. So a lot of the textures on here are effectively like from the show.
Neat.
We had to do some fiddling here and there to get them to fit and work right, and still be compatible with like all of our ship shield overlays and vanity shields and stuff. But thankfully, this one was actually pretty straightforward. It was kind of just take their parts and put them on our template.
Nice.
That we had for our
ships. Really cool. Well, I accidentally showed off the cool thing there, and Chad is freaking out, so let me show it off again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at all of these turrets, when this ship came in, the first thing everybody noticed was all of these turrets on it. And 45 of them. And so there was a lot of discussion and consternation about how, because when you're flying a ship, like the Enterprise, the beam could kind of come out from anywhere and it doesn't look weird. But if you're shooting, say, if this turret was pointed like this and we were shooting the J, it would fire out at a weird angle and it would look strange. And so there was a ton of work on Keith and Travis, our programmers, and Weston's. And I think Kiri helped us a bunch on this too.
Core programmers.
A big group effort.
And that does this. Whoops. This. The turrets will target your target at all times. If I move my ship forward here, they keep aiming with it. And yes, those are the actual hard points for the weapons. So as the turrets move, they will aim at the enemy ship and fire directly from those turrets at it. It is really cool.
Has like limitations, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, give it a
strengths. Yeah.
Do you hit the space bar?
It's a friendly ship, so I can't. Let me summon a test critter.
Shoot it.
Should make it clear that this ship doesn't have 45 weapons.
But there are actually exactly 45 different default weapon hardpoints on ships. We actually place nodes, and this ship has.
Right. I'm gonna get rid of the Enterprise here.
The exact number. So, every cannon, every beam, every torpedo, front and back has a turret basically.
And I think Mike set this up with all beam weapons from the upcoming lockbox, which are designed to go with this ship. So you guys are also going to be able to see those visuals for the first time.
Yeah, and we'll take this thing into combat as we always do and put it through its paces. But for right now, let's begin. So yes, the beams look more cannon-y because that's what they did on the show.
Yep.
And that's a cool noise too.
We've done this a few times in the past, like with Bodvar weapons. They have the cannon-looking beams, and I think some of the Discovery weapons as well. This was specifically to try to sell the visual of this ship being, I mean, for lack of better terminology, a Star Destroyer.
Right. It's a big battleship, right? Proper style.
It's gigantic.
And the cannons on this ship were going to be so big, like they're about the size of, like almost as wide as a Defiant is.
Yeah.
Right. Like
you could take a turret off and turn it into a frigate pet.
Right.
Yep.
So having something
so
big just be
but
still.
But can we?
There
we go.
If you get zoomed in,
I can. Let me.
Or spawn a pet that or an enemy that moves around. You can watch the turrets track them.
You can kind of see it tracking as they move here.
Moving.
Is that a thing?
Okay. Active. Test ship dummy active fast.
Yeah.
Test ship, dummy, active, fast.
Then you can just hold still and it'll move around you.
Yeah. Nope, I have to F2 back.
But yeah, this was a collective effort and something that I'm really glad we were able to pull off as a team.
Yeah.
There's more implications. I don't want to make any promises, but we're still looking into.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could talk about that.
It's being investigated further to see if this could be applied elsewhere in the game in any way.
There are some ideas that I've heard they're very exciting that Thomas has been pushing for a lot in our leads meetings because they're very exciting. But it's basically these turrets. What they're doing is they're tracking the movement of the object in space, and it's not just the turrets that could potentially do that. They could there are potentially other things that could track a target, and that's all we can say really.
It's essentially
without making
it's an
promises.
animation. It's
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's a dynamic animation. We've got other things in the game that kind of do it. Like if you target an enemy with your character, your torso kind of points at the enemy, right? It's the same kind of thing. We just found a better way to implement it with a lot more control to the artist for each turret. And the ship like this has a lot of turrets, but none of them are like stacked neatly like you would on if you see it like a battleship.
Yeah.
Right? These are every single one's at a weird angle, so we needed a pretty robust system to do all that math for us really quickly, especially and repeat it 45 times.
Yeah.
On this ship, right, and potentially on 5 or 6, 7, 8 ships on the screen at once, all doing it. So the math was, I guess, that was the challenge, making it efficient.
I just had a question that I'm curious about.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. If I turn on beam fire at will, the other cannons track other targets to fire at. That's neat.
They will, they'll track whatever their primary target is. So, I don't know if that's the your primary target or the power's primary target, but
Yeah.
it won't look at two targets at the same time. It can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely a feature that we have a lot of room to expand upon too.
Yeah.
And we'll want to rebuild or build new powers, definitely, and abilities and ships that take advantage of it.
Yeah, a couple of folks are asking about the potential of using this on older ships that have similar turret type tech. It's possible, but not something we're jumping on right away, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like like if we're gonna remaster something, and it has turrets on it, we want those turrets to move. We'll 100% do it.
Yeah.
If it's something we've recently remastered, we might go back. I mean, we want to, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we really want to. But
Well, one of the
time
goals
is
that I'd
limited.
heard of this tech was to make sure that it's performant on the server side of things, which actually I think slightly increases the amount of time it takes us to hook it up, because I think each turret needs its own definitions.
Yep, every single turret needs to have its own firing arcs and base orientation defined.
Oh man.
And like rotation speed, and each turret can have its own set of those. Yeah, it's a lot. It's tedious, but this ship was like, I feel like the worst case scenario.
Yeah, totally worth
Yeah,
it.
there can't
And,
be
we did
another
the-
ship.
did-
I say
did the
hopefully.
hardest one. It's easier from here on out. So.
Yeah, hopefully there won't be another ship with 45 turrets on it.
Or more.
Yeah. A power went off earlier where the whole ship got covered in a blue shield. I'm not sure what that was, or if it's part of the ship or something else I accidentally equipped. But for people who are asking what damage type these weapons are, they are plasma. And they will come with the ship, but they will also be the weapons that will be in this upcoming lockbox, which is the Emerald Chain lockbox. And we'll get more info on that for you folks later this week.
I think that blue shimmer is actually the weapon proc.
Oh, is that the
which,
weapon proc? Okay.
Yeah,
I
which
can
is
probably
actually
show
a
that off.
weapon haste proc.
Oh.
That's something that I think some people might be interested in.
Let's see.
It only hastes Viridian weapons,
Ah,
so you kind of have to go all in if you want to get the most out of the proc.
but that could still be really, really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's quickly take her out. And actually, before we do that, I'm just going to show off the tooltips now before we get into combat. So let's see. Our console is the programmable matter projector. Somebody asked if the hentai tentacles were making it in. They are. That's this.
In a way.
In a way.
Yeah, this was another big scary tech thing that we had multiple meetings about, like, how do we do tentacles?
Right.
Because the idea of having two entities tied with like a dynamically shifting and animating thing it's really hard for any engine to do, but it's really hard for us to do as well. What we ended up doing, I think you made these effects, right, Ian?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So it's a little bit cheating, but I think it still looks really rad. You'll see it in combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for trait, we've got Lash of the Chain. So periodically negates shared cooldown for cannon firing modes. So this is good if you've got a bunch of cannons on the ship, unlike the beams that we put on it.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
I'll show off the weapon proc thing too, but go ahead.
Just going to clarify that's like, I think it's every other cycle you essentially don't need a second copy. Usually to keep cannon firing modes going, you need 2 copies, or you need some major other cooldown reduction helpers, but this will allow you new options. You might not need to gear out your ship the same way if you use this trait.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take her into battle, and Jeremy, you can talk a little bit about. I think the screen is the red alert screen, but just in case.
So it's a this ship's official class is Juggernaut, which is essentially our largest, slowest, bulkiest tactical ship. It is a lot like a Dreadnought in many ways, except it has no hangar base. We did see that the Viridian in the show had gigantic, what could be called hangar bays, I guess. The ship was hollow.
Yeah.
But we also didn't see it actually launch any fighters. So there wasn't really any inspiration for needing that. We haven't done a Juggernaut for a while, so we decided to do that here. The ship will be a tactical monster. And as with any Juggernaut that we have released to date, this one does have an innate weapon that we'll show off a little bit later.
But first
I'm pretty sure Ian made the effects for that too, right?
It did as well, yeah.
All right. Somebody was asking in chat if the ship only comes with beams. I believe it comes with a mix of beams and cannons.
Yeah, it does. So you can get a feel for the different visuals, but they're the white levelless version. You'll want better weapons up from elsewhere.
I got to figure out if I'm blocking the sun now. Okay, I've got a godlight, but I'm not giving everyone a lens flare to deal with like I do if I do that.
Ah.
Yes, normal login.
Yeah, we'll be showing off the console in a little bit. Just Mike is hiding the loading screen.
Yeah.
We'll take it into action and show you what it can do.
Yeah. Now, the reason,
this,
just because chat's asking about it, the reason that this doesn't have the hangar bays is just more of a balance question than an in-universe question, yeah?
It's a little bit of both. Like, there was no strong inspiration in universe for it to have hangar pets. So we didn't feel like we were on the hook for it. But then the rest of it kind of comes down to looking at which ship types we've released over the last several months, what we plan to release in the next several months, and kind of seeing what gaps can be filled. And in this case, a large, heavy tactical ship with no hangar bays was something that was ready to be released. There's nothing else filling that void right now. So it worked very well for us. You might have seen it. I think you clicked the cloak button. The ship doesn't have a battle cloak because it did have one on the show.
Because everybody gets a cloak in the 35th century.
Mm-hmm.
Or 32nd. 32nd, yeah.
We don't know what's happening in the 35th.
Yeah. Tristan Robinson says, you just hate hangar pets. I laugh at you, sir, for reasons you will understand later. Let's see. Can you slot beam overload in the tack station and show the weapons under overload? Yeah, I can do that. I don't care.
Looks like our fight got them to notice us. Let's go over and ask if their boss might come out of hiding.
Let's see. Do I have beam overload on this character? His character was made for me, not by me, so I don't see beam overload on my tactical officer here.
You can just add power.
Oh, do you know what the logical name is?
Beam overload.
Oh, wow, that's
surprisingly simple, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you type beam under, you'll find it.
Yeah, I found it. So now is it on my bridge officer or is it somewhere?
Now press P.
Okay, now it's in my power list. Yeah.
Yep.
Beam overload 3. Got it. Okay. Let me overload these things. So let's talk a little bit about the inspiration for the ship's console and powers. This is the console right here, I believe. Yeah.
That's the special innate ability.
Oh, that's the... Wow!
Yeah.
That's cool as heck. We'll come back to that.
I recommend aiming.
Yeah, generally. Let's see. That is not... Okay, I must not have it. Oh, no, I'm just not in range to use it. There it is. Programmable matter tendrils. So there go the tendrils.
You can kind of see them. It's going to be not as easy to see against this lighter backdrop. But they essentially kind of snake out like snakes, like the one in Ian's picture.
Yeah.
And then they, in any foes that they impact, they end up entangled. So they take physical damage over time. I think it's physical. And they are held in place. They have their engines knocked offline. Essentially what the tentacles in the show did. They immobilized the ship. We wanted to kind of try to find a way to make it also like what they did in the show with the tentacles is they actually took over the Discovery. They like hijacked its systems. But we couldn't think of a way that would really feel like you were doing that in our game.
Turn somebody friendly for a few minutes.
Maybe, but the payoff's not there if they just become friendly, and then you can't really tell what they're doing or have any control over them.
That's true.
So we just decided to keep it a pretty simple control ability. It locks them in place, and it does damage over time. It can affect a lot of foes, and it does a lot of damage to anything in that forward cone.
I think it's 8 that get affected max.
I think so, yeah. Which is a pretty good number of targets in most encounters. I think I saw you fire off the overloaded
Yes,
beam arrays
looks
there.
very cool. All right, so I'm going to fire off this Juggernaut array. Tell me about what I'm doing here.
You are shooting things.
Thank you, Jeremy. What does the Viridian Juggernaut array do, Jeremy?
So it's a forward-facing lance that does... well, it's not really a lance. Those are traditionally a cylinder base, but this is actually a sphere that launches from your ship and travels very quickly in a straight line in front of you. And it does plasma damage to anything it encounters, and it's very similar to the Vodwar Juggernaut array in the amount of damage it does and the amount of space that it fills. But where the Vodwar pushes things away, this one instead holds them in place. It will disable anything that it encounters.
Yeah. The weapons seem to be very popular. So, Ian, did you say you do the effects on the weapons?
I did not do the base weapon effects. I did the console power effects and the lance power.
Well, then I will pass my compliments on to either Robert or Chris, depending on who did it.
I think they both worked on these, actually.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, and those weapons will be available in the lockbox.
Yeah.
For anyone curious.
And the ones that
well
come with the
as,
ship will be non-upgradable, but the ones that come in the lockbox will be upgradable, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Also in the weapon pack will be a Vanity shield for this ship. For this ship's material.
Yeah. Pirate Scum Gaming says that is a proper pirate ship. That's actually right. This feels very like...
It's
Put a broadside on them, boys!
What's funny to me about this ship is that it's so big. Its turn rate is only, I think, 5. If I double check, like it's an incredibly slow ship, but it's so large
that it doesn't
that
matter.
it still feels maneuverable.
Yeah.
I was tempted to lower the turn rate even more, but a 5 is pretty much the floor of our ship maneuverability in our game.
Yeah.
It's an odd feeling though that it's just so big that it feels fine.
Yeah.
At least to me.
It feels fine to me too. I actually am surprised by how fast it is. And I'm the one who decides all these things, so
Yep.
it's very important that I'm
giving
happy.
it your blessing.
You're welcome. Oh, wrong button. I was trying to do this. There we go.
Nice shot.
Thanks. Is there an Emerald Chain Vanity Shield? Yes.
Yes.
And you'll see a picture of that with the lockbox. It looks kind of like this.
I think... Boy, can you open up your status? Because I forget if the ship has no prefix or a custom prefix.
It has no prefix.
No prefix.
No prefix, yeah.
'Cause they didn't refer to the Viridian as like the OSS Viridian or anything like that. It was just a Viridian.
Syra doesn't seem like the type to, put letters in front of her ship names. A Gaming Stutka, would it be possible to get cross-platform play with Xbox, PS5, and PC? Would love that. Would love it if when we launched console for this game like 6 years ago, people were playing nice the way they are now. Our game is unfortunately, because at the time it was, we're a competition and we will never allow cross-play. We didn't build for that, and going back and doing it now would be very difficult.
Product of its era.
Yeah.
Hard.
Someone who just logged in and was asking, this is the ship for the Emerald Chain lockbox, which is coming out. Well, I mean, y'all can probably look at the PC launcher and do some math as to when this is coming out.
Its official name in game, by the way, is the Emerald Chain Intel Dreadnought. It is an Intel primary.
Intel Juggernaut,
spec.
my friend.
Yeah. What did I say?
Dreadnought.
Oh, Juggernaut.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Thank you for correcting me.
No problem.
So it does have Intel primary. That means it has gather Intel, and it can do Intel powers and all that.
Yeah.
I'm really curious. I haven't had a chance to play with it myself to see how vanity shields apply to
Oh
this.
well, we should do that because I think we've shown off how cool it is to fly already a bunch.
Mhm.
I honestly, like, before this stream, I didn't think this ship would be that fun because of what a boat it is.
Yeah.
It is really cool. It is really fun to fly. The powers are cool. The turrets just feel amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get out of combat here. Are we going to see the event ship? Yes, you are, but that's next. After we're done showing off some vanity shields here, we will pull on some other designers. All right. Oh, but I didn't. Is it give item or grant reward table for the?
Grant reward table.
Okay, that's what I thought. Grant reward table. Vanity. Test reward pack. And this is, I'm guessing you haven't had time to update this.
Correct.
Okay,
Still like 3 or 4 shields behind.
that's fine. Nope, nope. Ah, there we go. Mhm. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Trias,
Just took a second.
Are intel powers getting a once-over like command? Maybe at some point in the future, but not in the immediate future. Like, not for this release. I know that some of the specific powers have some feedback, but I know that the ship mechanic as well has had some specific feedback given the gather intel. And I do want to review the ship mechanic more so than the BOF powers, but unfortunately I haven't had a chance for this release. So that's still on the docket. I hope to get to it soon, but just not yet.
I flew away from combat, and combat flew back over to me. I have turned off their ability to target me, so as soon as this guy blows up, we should get out of combat again, so I can actually put some shields on it. I saw a request for Slime Devils, but get your other requests in. I'll do maybe 5 Vanity Shields, and then we'll go to
Pink.
the next ship.
The request is pink.
All right. So here she is.
I love
as-
that the name of
okay,
that
this
shield
actually
is just
is the first ship I've liked as Slime Devils. That looks really
Yeah.
cool.
That does look great.
That's neat. All right, we had a request for pink from Jeremy and chat, so I guess I can indulge it. Pink, 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 pink. Here it is. Hard to see on this map. Oh, no, it's not. That's great. Oh, that's really cool. That just kind of looks like you took the ship and put it in Photoshop and turned on the glow feature.
Not gonna lie, it kind of is that.
Somebody was asking for the Borg shield. I don't know if we have that on this pack. I do.
Picked up a tight beam transmission on a new frequency.
actually,
There it
I
is,
think
the
it's
Borg.
last one that I added to this.
Nice. It's funny because
do
the
your
Borg
test
doesn't
pack.
look that different because of the
It's-
green spots.
Looks very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right, one more. Section 31. Of course, people want to see that. It made the ship black, everybody.
Surprise!
Shock! All right. Cool.
Oh, wait, sorry, can we do one more? With
Yeah.
Curie?
Oh, God, I do
Always a
kind of
good
want to
That's
see that.
wood paneling. Let's see if it takes.
I think that's because Argala that it kind of doesn't look that exciting.
That's
but-
fine.
I mean, it's
Still
a pretty
neat.
flat material.
Yeah.
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 Oh, but I like the
Oh,
wood
there's
paneling over
just
here. There it
wood
is.
Paneling over there.
Yeah, that's neat.
like
Accent
that.
bits.
That's very neat. All right. So I am going to mute everybody and put us back on the BRB screen. No, Jeremy, you stay. Ian, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, is there, if and have a great night. I don't know what
Well.
else I was going to say.
You guys have a good one too.
All right.
Take care. See you.
Bye. And we're just going to BRB for just a moment. And we're back, everyone. Please welcome Jeremy. You know him already. And also, Mo and Hector are here. Yay! Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. So we are here to talk about the upcoming, I almost said what the ship was. That would have been hilarious. The upcoming anniversary ship that will be part of the free anniversary event that was mentioned this morning. So if you complete the whole event, you get this ship. And we've had a bit of a tradition for the last couple of years, ever since we released the Kittimer. And as I mentioned on a stream the other week, we are not going to be breaking that tradition. Now, the question is, Mo and Hector, do you think I should show the concept first or show the ship first and then do the concept later?
I don't know. Is the ship very different from the concept?
Not really, no.
It's pretty.
The first time I get that question, man.
I
think we
vote
should
to play
start-
concept first.
Concept
Let's start with
first?
the
All
concept.
right.
See
All
what
right.
the
Let,
design-
let the
maybe
art
we can.
shine.
All right,
Before
so,
we have them.
ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Juggernaut class Alliance carrier. Ooh, it's pretty. Oh, it's so pretty. All right, Hector, tell us a little bit about your thought process approaching this ship. This is a Fed-ROM crossover, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's usually when ships like this pop up, you only have one chance. We were like, what can we do? What kind of really signature ship we use for at least for the Romulans
Yeah.
to get into the equation? So we decided, you know what? Let's try something with the Derry. That's something that is easily recognizable, is big, is really imposing, and then it kind of merges really well with all that Federation Starfleet kind of language with a saucer, because it was kind of difficult. I was looking for something else that was really specific for the Federation that I could use to merge with the Romulan language, but the saucer, it always comes back to the saucer, and it works really well, I think. Yeah.
Chat
I
is
remember-
exploding, you guys. People are very, very happy about this ship.
I don't know. I hope. I was like, okay, we had the Derry that's this big, it's gigantic. Okay, let's try to put something in the center, in between those two gigantic ships, almost like I always like the idea of the Derry that's, or the Romulan ships, like they look like gigantic birds, and suddenly it comes out of warp, and then releases all these ships, like shuttles or how you call that, like drones or whatever you want to.
I don't know if you
want to
can-
do. some
Fighters.
mission.
I can show
Fighters,
them.
Yeah,
I can show them when we go into the gameplay. Why don't we do that?
yeah, absolutely.
So here she is in game. Oop, I forgot to do some stuff here. Yeah.
Haha, you got removed.
I'll add you both back in right now. I knew I was forgetting something.
I do remember early in the concepting discussions, before you actually kind of put stylus to, it's not pen to paper. What is it? Stylus to screen?
Yeah.
It was.
Of like, well, how are we going to marry a saucer to this thing? That's just not going to work.
It was. Yeah. The thing is that when we started, everything we did suddenly started to look like a Tivaro, or something like that. That is kind of expected. So everybody was like, okay, how can we add like a neck? How can we put a neck on this thing? But I didn't want to put a neck. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, how can we do something in between? That is a neck, but it's also not a neck. So that was a solution.
I got to be totally honest too. Like some of the early drafts of the idea of slapping a saucer on a Daenerys looked comically atrocious.
Yeah, it was like that.
I'm glad we figured it out.
I'm
Yeah.
just amazed by how all the lines flow together on this, because you're right, slapping a saucer on a Daenerys could be a terrible idea. And I love how just the saucer flows into the neck, into the natural curves of the Daenerys. You're so good at making ships look organic, Hector.
But yeah, usually the trick is make a line that goes around the ship. The line has to inform where the eye should go, and it has to be pleasant. It should not have many interruptions. It should be flowy. It should always flow. Otherwise, it looks like a mess.
Yeah.
That was the difficult part for me on the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Getting all those lines to work together in 3D
to work.
was a little bit of a nightmare. But
Tell me a little bit more
That
about
was the
that. What was
challenge,
the
yeah.
what was the
Because they
issue
had
with
to-
getting them all to work together?
they had to work.
There's also a scale thing that Mo had to work with because this is a very large ship.
yeah, I
Like,
remember we had to
it's
scale it
longer
down.
and wider than the Kittimer. It's a big carrier. So yeah, being able to get the existing materials and the details from the Kittimer and the Tamara to marry itself into this design. I know you had some trouble with that.
Yeah,
But I think
we had to
the
scale it
final
down.
result was
Gorgeous.
Yeah, can you show the inside of the ship? What's
Yeah. Let me
inside, the
let me
hangars?
reposition it so that it's facing
Yeah.
the sun.
Let's see what you guys did. Let's see. I
Yeah,
haven't
this
seen.
is-
This is the first time. Every time it's the first time for me.
Oh, there's the hangars. I love that look. That's
Got it.
really cool.
Can
That
you
actually.
check your visuals. I think that's got a piece of geo on your engine.
I know there's a
that's
piece of
stuck in there.
geo.
Oh, there might be. I was wondering what that was.
I
Yeah.
think that's a ship visual.
Might be. I might have put the. I did. I put the enervating engines on this.
Yep.
That makes sense. I was like, what is that? Why is it there?
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Yeah. Look at that.
We end up doing like a fake spotlights coming from the ceiling.
Yeah.
A little bit of parallax in there to kind of
Yeah,
scale.
no, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I was having a little bit of trouble with that, but then it just like it clicked. I'm like, yeah, let's put more of those in there.
Yeah. That was the whole point. So see, that was the whole idea. So you could see in the dark.
You know,
That was
it's
the
one of
whole
my
idea.
favorite things about the ship. Oops, I missed.
Oh my god, I need a Dramamine.
Woo! Oh, I did it the wrong way again. Hold on. Oh god, there we go. Woo! It was easier in demo record to do this, but woo! Yeah, sail it on through. Just looks cool. All right, so tell me a little bit about the process of bringing this ship to life, Mo. You mentioned it was difficult to get all the curves to curve together well. What was the hang up in that process?
Well, I mean, so when I started doing this, I started approaching it more from like a drawing perspective. So I did draw in a lot of splicing 3D, and then I started following it. I mean, it was very helpful to actually have the block art from Hector. That was without that, I think this ship will have taken even much longer. So thank you for that, Hector. That was awesome. And just like
Absolutely.
very, very careful, just trying to make sure that the curves have like a connection between 2 points, and just trying to follow that, and then just like building the shapes in between. So this is a combination of like a spline modeling and patch modeling and just like triangle editing. So
Yeah, well,
I try many different techniques to get it right.
where this is the last ship was all triangles, no booleans. I assume this is all booleans, no triangles.
I didn't do a single boolean on this thing.
He's like, "How dare you insult my
Booleans and
work,
maths.
sir?"
I wish it looked pretty.
It's really, really pretty.
There's a
Oh,
lot
I
of
didn't
booleans
notice.
Can be very tricky.
I love that the ship has
Yeah.
your name in in Klingon and English. I forgot that we did that.
Yeah.
Alexa?
It has all the alliance trimming like that, and those little I think they're beam emitters, the little red pillboxes along the edges.
Yeah, I
Oh, yeah,
borrowed
those
those
guys?
from
Little
another one.
details.
Yep,
Yeah.
I borrowed those from another
Oh, those are
Cuban
big.
ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Kind of like last minute change that might lead us for.
Draconis Alexander is saying that that sphere space is a good space to show off ships. It's a good flat lighting space, but the two problems with it is that the environment kind of looks old, and I don't know, it just kind of washes out ships. I don't really like how they look there.
It's a little blue.
Yeah, I like this map. It's a little more dramatic sometimes, but all right. So, Ian, as always, Mo, as always, you had some concept art. We saw it earlier, and then you had to take this thing into a fully realized 3D image. So, other than the glorious hangars that we showed off earlier, what are some neat details you got to add to this baby when you were putting it together?
Well, pretty much like all the decal work that has gone into the ship has been massive.
Can you clarify
I think-
just what exactly
Yeah.
accounts for a detail?
Well,
Decal?
just like like if you see like a little panel or like a little mark on the hull, those, yeah, that sort of thing, or like kind of like a connection point between two panels. That is just like it's just like it was. I was trying to be very thoughtful because I was looking at other Federation ships and the other Kittimer ships, so just trying to get all the language right. And I even had more, but then I reached my polygon count got too
Oh
high.
no.
So this ship had to go through like a serious cleanup.
So,
So I couldn't get all the details that Hector actually did, but I tried to be as faithful to the concept as much as possible.
So I've noticed in making the video for this ship that it has this kind of stained glass effect on the material. Is that unique to this ship, or is that all the Alliance ships have that? And I've just never
All
noticed.
the Alliance ships have this.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful. It's a beautiful material.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really got to be very careful about the density of the material and how it just spreads across the surface.
Yeah, I like the I try as much as possible to use color changing, color shifting materials because although I like metal a lot, I always think that these ships are not gonna be made out of metal specifically, or if they're done with metal, they're gonna have some sort of cover on top of that. That's my theory.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It just looks, everything that we've made that's an Alliance ship just looks meticulously designed. Like, they got, a bunch of Vulcans or even like Ryzians to work on just the exterior. Kind of, we come in peace. We swear.
How cool we are.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've got to chat wants to know. Chat wants to know so bad. So I will show everybody. Here they come. People were asking what kind of pets this has. These are the Alliance fighters. Is that what they're called?
Alliance squadrons.
Alliance squadrons, and
So they are fighter pets, but they're full 6-ship squadrons.
Yep. And so it's another one of our squadron tech fighters, which I absolutely love. And they are unique fighters for the Alliance. So this is the first time you'll see them and the first time you get to use them. Tell us a little bit about the design for these guys, Mo.
Well, actually, the design came from Hector because
Oh.
he actually had a concept for this.
Oh, okay. Well, then tell us a little bit about the design of these, Hector.
Yeah, it was. Let me see. Let me look at the ship. Blah 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 blah. So it was good because I really have the chance to make fighters like that. I really have the chance. So I decided to go a bit. Oh my God, what's the name of that that it was? I think it was like a runabout or something that John Eves did some time ago. Oh my God, Thomas was here. He was like, yes, this one specifically.
Yeah, I remember going through some old concept stuff for Star Trek, and I found out very similar designs for the ship.
Yeah. So I made it look like you could actually land this thing, and the back of the ship, I really wanted it to look like you could land it, and it had like a door or something that will open eventually. That's why it is done like that flat with the raised. Oh man, I can't see from here.
They look so good, guys. Like, I could
Yeah,
totally see this being a ship on a show.
It's functional.
really
The only
cool.
thing I'm noticing difference from the concept is that it looks like it's the center is dual.
I
It's
think
not-
he has two. I think you have two ships on top of each other.
Yeah, there are
Oh,
two
they
instances. It should
totally
be
if you
do.
one.
launch,
Because
two.
If I launch two, they'll still on top of each other until there's something to fight. Okay, I know how to fix that.
Kill one.
Oh, I could do that. That's way less complicated than what I was going to do.
So yeah, it had to look aggressive. It was a weird combination because it had to look aggressive. It had to look big, but also it had to look small in comparison to the main ship.
Did that in a cold
It was a fun one. I still had to make a proper concept deck presentation for that one. I'm gonna make it just for fun because I
I
really
would love
like
to see
the
that.
ship.
I like these ships a
I
lot.
really like it.
I
Yeah.
want these to be our first full. If we can ever actually do a squadron ship, I would love for these to be the first full squadron ship.
Yeah, we were kind of chatting about that tech before we went live. It's so close. We just need some good software time to
There they are.
finish off the tech.
Okay, here they are, kind of buzzing over. There we go. That looks a little bit more like
Hold
First
still,
time I see
guys.
them. First time see
I
them,
have the power to
scale
make
makes
them.
that.
There we go.
The
All
scale
right, here's
works
what they
really
actually
well.
look like without the try thing that was
Yeah.
2 ships on top of each other. That's much
That's
clearer.
that's the thing.
That is really, really cool. I want
Now
to
we're
fly one of
talking.
these.
Hmm.
I mean, in real life. In Star Trek
Yeah.
Online, too, but I want one. Hector, make me a full-size one.
Yeah, that's exactly that. I did it thinking like that it could be repurposed if you guys wanted. You see, it has like a little door behind, and I was even thinking of making it like you could have like landing gear or something like that.
Yeah,
This is a
that's
beautiful
really
ship.
cool.
We can, yeah.
I can see this one getting scaled up and somehow being like redesigned in such a way that you could use it for like a much bigger ship.
Well, there's a pretty good chance we'll keep doing alliance ships for the anniversary, unless we come up with some other better idea. So maybe a scaled up version
So
of
as
this.
long
at
as
some
the
point.
game keeps going, we're going to get alliance ships, we hope. I would love to, seriously would love to fly one of these. I've said it already, but this is such a cool design. Get on it, Jeremy. Get the text.
So these they're squadron pets, so that means that you get a whole lot of pew pew that doesn't do a lot of damage on their own. But they look amazing in combat.
Yeah. Well, why don't we show that off? Well, actually, before we go, I'm going to show off seating and tooltips and stuff, so we don't have to get out of combat later to do it. So, all right. So stations, we've got commander intelligence.
No, this is not a spec ship.
What am I?
Should be lieutenant commander, temporal ops.
Oh, it's up there. Sorry. Okay, Lieutenant Commander. I'm looking at my bridge officer description again. I always get confused by this text. Okay, sorry. Lieutenant Commander, Universal or Temporal Ops. Lieutenant Tactical. Lieutenant Commander, Engineering. Commander Science. And Ensign Science Command. And our console, which we'll look at the effects for later, is the Sensor Suspension Burst. Jeremy, tell us about this.
Well, first of all, when we get to the effects, I think they're actually being tweaked today to make them a little more obvious because they're very subtle, which is appropriate for the power that we designed here. This is essentially a pet buff. It does affect all of the other players on your team briefly when it first goes off, but what it does is it's a big point-blank AoE burst that gives you and all the players on your team and all of your pets a brief critical hit buff that fades off yourself and your teammates after a little while. But what lingers behind is that your pets, all pets actually, all allied pets, get a very big crit buff and they become essentially untargetable. So they can just attack things with impunity for, I think, quite a duration, 20 seconds. So it really cranks their damage up and makes them essentially invulnerable for a time. Not entirely. If they run into a gravity well, they're still going to take some damage, but they can't be shot at during this whole period.
Nice. So it's a very good carrier build console.
Mm-hmm. And it's especially good, as we try to do with a lot of these alliance ships. It gets even better if your whole team is on your side, if they're all like trying to synergize with you, because every hangar pet on your entire team benefits from this buff. So your pets, if you have a friend on your team that also has hangar pets, they get the buff as well. And it just kind of is a force multiplier in that way.
All right, we got for the trait backup shield batteries.
Let me remind myself what this does. These were actually the like paper designed, we call it, where like we just scratched down an idea for what they're going to be. I did that part, but then Scott Compton, one of our newest systems designers, actually implemented both the console and the trait.
Gotcha.
So he kind of took my idea, kind of like Hector with concept art. I did the concept art for this trait, and then Scott actually drew it, built it in game.
Yeah.
So what does this do?
Backup shield batteries. Yeah.
Every time you activate a shield drain or an energy drain buff ability, you get a charge that's charged on your ship, and then whenever one of your shield facings drops to 0, it immediately goes back to full and consumes one of those charges. So this is a incredibly powerful shield tank trait, as long as you're also using draining abilities to keep those charges refreshing on your ship. You can only store 4 charges at a time, but you only have 4 shield facings anyway. So yeah,
That's
keep
really
it going.
cool.
Your shields will just keep regenerating themselves.
All right. Well, let's go put her through her paces.
Are we gonna shoot something?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Did I? Oh, because I'm like, why aren't I warping out? Oh, that's why.
Bye.
Oh, that ship got left
Bye,
behind.
pets.
Someone was asking about the Emerald Chain ship we showed earlier. That'll be part of the new lockbox. So not Infinity Box, just a regular old lockbox.
Somebody's asking about the pet stats. I can give you those real quick. Just
Oh,
while
yeah.
we're-
I can...
While we're zoning in, they're squadrons, so they actually have more weapons than what we list on the stats. It's kind of an abstraction, but they have like 6 forward micro beam arrays, 3 rear pulse cannons, and then they can use an ability called Focused Assault, which is just a bridge officer ability you might be familiar with. We actually had to tweak Focused Assault for the sake of these fighters. We learned that having multiple versions of the buff on a or debuff on a foe didn't do anything, so we've fixed that. So you can get multiple procs, but depending on how many people put focused fire on the target, which makes these pets very effective for you. Like they'll go out, they'll debuff a single target, and then you get all the procs from their focus fire ability.
Hitting sensor suspension burst to make my pets super cool. So that may not be the final effect you're seeing now, but it's funny.
I'm heard it might get a little more oomph, like a little more dramatic.
Okay. Someone was asking. I'm assuming the advanced and elite versions of these pets don't look any different physically. Oh, they're asking about the stats of them. Do you know what the difference is in the stats of the?
Well, no, they're just standard fighter pets. There's nothing really special. We didn't buff their shields or change their hit points or anything like that. Should be run of the mill.
But the advanced and elite versions of the ships that you can buy. Oh, you were answering that question. Sorry, I sounded like you were answering.
Yeah, we don't
one
tend to change the stats. Occasionally, we put like passive damage buffs on the advanced and elite if we feel like we need that. They need that. I don't think that's the case with these ships at all.
Don't they usually get extra powers or something?
They do. So focused assault rank 1 for the standard fighters, then at advanced that goes up to rank 2, and at elite that goes up to rank 3.
Got it.
I should have put more lights inside. All right.
A couple of people were asking about whether the ship can equip frigate pets. Obviously, there aren't frigate pets that come with it. It's just this one. But do you know if it can equip frigates?
Yeah, as long as there's a frigate pet out there that isn't ship restricted, this ship should be able to use it. It is a full carrier, so as long as those pets say that they can be used by a full carrier, which they usually do, then you should be able to use them here. None of the pets gain torpedoes at any rank. And that was asked in the chat.
Okay. It does have a cloak. It is an alliance cloak, so not a battle cloak.
Right.
What
the
is
turn rate is actually fairly high for a ship this size.
Yeah.
You might notice that it doesn't bank as much as some of our other ships tend to. That's one of the things we wanted to focus on is kind of give the ship a niche as being a pretty maneuverable carrier. Its turn rate, I mean, it might not sound very high, but for a carrier, a turn rate of 8 is pretty respectable, especially for a ship this size. But we found that when we plugged that stat in with the default banking, it actually made the ship kind of flop like a bird, in a bad way though. So we had to tone that down a little bit.
someone in chat was complaining that the ship doesn't have 2 hangars, but it does.
It does.
So I'm not sure.
Just one is hidden behind our heads over here.
Yeah.
There is 2 of them.
That was it.
So there's a little bit of chatter in the chat box about like science carriers, which the ship qualifies for. There's been discussion among the community that science carriers need some love. I've been reading that feedback and everything. I kind of agree, but it's kind of a slippery slope too. Somebody mentioned like, well, why not just give it an extra hangar bay? Or, well, hangar bay comes with a lot of very difficult baggage, but an extra weapon or a secondary deflector, those things end up rippling out, because then why isn't a science ship? What do they have special? If I give a secondary deflector to a carrier, yada, yada, yada. So it's still an ongoing discussion. I think I understand why people feel like science carriers need some sort of improvement, but I'm not sure I disagree. I don't think I disagree, but I just haven't had a chance to really dig into it more deeply deeply enough to make any actions.
What? But why, Jeremy? What are you doing with your time? You didn't
Making all
design
ships.
both these ships that we're talking about tonight, and probably like 16 more that are coming up.
Yeah, some of us have jobs.
Oh god, it's anniversary season. You gotta design a whole pack of ships.
You think?
Yeah,
Should I do that?
I think it's a good idea. Maybe
Alright,
maybe
I'll
a
think about
bundle. Maybe we'll do a bundle.
Okay. There's so many pew pew.
So much pew pew. You must construct additional pew pew. These are,
All
by
those
the way, if someone in chat was asking, these are not the weapons the ship comes with. I have equipped it with whatever gold Mark 15 weapons I had on this character. So these are phaser. These are, I think, TOS phaser weapons based on the sound.
It just comes with standard anti-proton beamerings.
Yeah.
Which is the Alliance standard weaponry. Which is also what the pets use, anti-proton beamerings.
Cthulhu wants to know if focused assault. Okay, I'm just going to read the question because I'm not sure I understand it. I'm sorry to keep asking about the pets, but that focused assault change, does it mean you can have 1 and 2 and 3 on the same target at the same time, or is something else happening there?
You can have multiple versions of 1 and or 2 and or 3 on a target, and each time have a chance to, or yeah, have a chance to, or guaranteed, I forget, to receive the buff that focused assault offers you. Basically, per person that's casting it. So each person can use 1, 2, and 3 on a target, and each individual of your hangar pets count as one person. In that case,
Got it.
it basically, the old version of the power was that regardless of who put it on there, you could only have one copy of focus fire on a target.
Yeah,
at a
this
time.
is the one that Cthulhu was talking about the other day that they wanted to get fixed. So you fixed that issue.
So I fixed that,
Nice.
which just happens to make these pets quite effective
Nice.
because they kind of spam that ability.
Trexpert, I don't think Jeremy is the one who could do this, but I will pass on to Travis the idea of having your 2 hangars on console have 2 separate slots in the radial. Let's see. Any chance from the consoles from the Alliance ships will get a set bonus, Jeremy?
Possibly. So we weren't sure that we wanted to do it this time around. If we do another Alliance ship, I think that'll be in the plans at that point, because then that'll be 4. That's definitely set bonus territory. Ooh, nice.
That is nice.
All right,
That's
let's do
Bozeman?
this.
That is both the Titans, yeah.
Metal material that Hector was asking for.
Oh, why doesn't it use a singularity core? That is a good question. We actually wanted to. I investigated technology to try to make the ship able to use both singularity and matter antimatter, but the tech just couldn't get it in time. Making it use only singularity would actually cause a few minor problems for Federation and Klingon characters who don't have a lot of access to those, or don't have as much access to those. Or the traits that interact with them, or all sorts of stuff. We decided that since the primary players of the Alliance are the Federation and Klingon, we'll stick with matter antimatter. If in the future we end up to get the tech that I was talking about that allows the ship to use either, then I'd like to retrofit the ship. I just don't think that that's going to come in the short term.
I am doing ship requests as we are chatting and answering questions. Oh, Lucari looks real good on this. Trexper keeps suggesting Alliance Shield. You know what will happen if I put the Alliance Shield on it. Nothing will happen. Fakiri, I can do that. Let's see.
If you put the Alliance shield on it, you're Super Alliance.
Now it looks like a ship from the Abyss. Remember that? The Abyss?
The movie?
That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
very old movie, yeah.
Yeah, the movie that James Cameron almost killed several actors on.
No big deal.
With water.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he got into a fist
knew
fight
water
with,
was so dangerous?
what's his name?
Who had that right? Everybody was freezing.
Okay, I am confused about the seeming disappearance of the Fakiri shield from this pack.
Did you leave it on the other ship?
Oh, maybe I did.
Wah,
Right, well, I'm going to
wah.
throw Ferengi on here.
What can you?
Ooh, Ferengi
what
looks
can you-
nice in this.
It actually looks like a Ferengi ship. The
It does.
shields and everything work.
Yeah, I don't have the 32nd
Ferengi one.
century ship on here. People want dialectic oscillation. Okay.
Oh, you asked for it.
I know this is a troll question, but I will put it up there.
Yeah, bring
Oh
it.
boy.
Bring it.
I'm just gonna remove that from the reward pack.
I just want. See, the thing is with this particular shield, every time I bring it up, Thomas is like, "Well, if we did, update it, we would have to keep the original version." And I'm like, "Would you? Would you though?"
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes that is a valid question.
That shield looks like what you get if you remove all the panels from the top of the ship.
All right.
Yes.
Borg in
empty.
Section 31. This is the first. Some people who came in late. The first ship that we showed off was the Viridian from Star Trek Discovery Season 3. That will be the lockbox ship in the Emerald Chain lockbox. And then this that you're looking at right now is, well, you're not looking at it. I've got the window open. But this ship, Borg looks nice on this, actually, is the Juggernaut Alliance carrier, which will be the new free event ship for the anniversary event. Coming very soon on PC, and soonish after that on console. I say soonish because I don't want to say soon and then have everyone be like, it didn't come out the next week! Kill him! Section 31 was requested. Riemann shield. Ooh, yeah, of course Section 31 looks good
I
on
like
this.
the way that those blue glows on the
Yeah.
saucer section. Those are really nice.
Yeah. The 2 Romulan rep shields. Yeah, I've got those, I think. As long as they're not called something random, it'll be easy to find. Here we go. Romulan advanced prototype.
It's one of them.
Okay.
It's very
Put some
subtle.
green
so
on it.
doesn't- It's not a full material overlay. It's just
Yeah.
like highlights.
Nobody's asking for any Federation skins.
No.
We don't usually put Federation skins in Vanity shields.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice.
That is kind of nice. It's much more subtle than the Riemann shield usually is.
No, that's super easy.
VStart 1, can we please throw money at you to allow us to select our warp animations? I wish you could. Although
First, let's make sure warp animations work
Yep.
reliably.
Yep. And also, there was a bit of a hilarity moment in with the Viridian, the other ship we showed off tonight, because it's currently using the original series warp out effect. Because if you put the TNG warp out effect on it, because the ship is so big and because the nacelles are these giant things on the side of it, when the nacelles light up, it's like Beacon of Kalos level bright. Like it's just too much. Throw a new Romulus on there. New Romulus looks nice.
Every color of the Riemann.
Augie wants Grandma's ashtray vanity shield. I assume that's the dielectric oscillation shield. Tristan Robinson, Protostar when? So as soon as we can. Because
That's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah,
'cause
well-
it's actually the scale is really weird.
Yeah, and because Prodigy is a Nickelodeon show as well as a Paramount show, we're actually still not entirely sure how available that stuff is for us to just use. So we're trying to get straight answers on that before we start developing anything. Mike Simpkins heard a rumor about the server being shut down for 3 months. No, that's not true. I don't know where you heard that, but whoever told you that was a lying liar who lies.
Can confirm.
Someone asked for Aegis. Oh, okay. It just looks like the regular ship. Let's see.
Micro weapons, Dan PMK basically means that they just do less damage than a standard of its type. There's not a direct translation because, okay, to give you a little peek under the hood of what a squadron pet does, there are 6 entities as one, but we do some weird like flavor changes under the hood where when they get down to like 75% of their health, 1 or 2 of the fighters will die, so the squadron gets smaller. Which also means that their weapons adapt to that. They actually start dealing less damage but become harder to hit. This is all stuff that we'll tell you more about the details of all these in hard numbers if you ever end up flying squadrons, but this is actually something we still just kind of play with under the hood to try to balance squadron pets. The way that they both look and feel and how effective they are and all that sort of stuff. So when we say that these pets have 9 total micro weapons, it's tuned to be approximately just as effective as another fighter pet. Our intention is not to make those like, well, if that one has 3 weapons, these have 9, so they're 3 times as good. That's not what we're aiming at. It's all mostly just flavor.
Will there be a California class from lower decks, please, anytime soon? Smiley face, prayer hands, 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 prayer hands. Apparently, for folks who use screen readers, like like visually impaired folks, when you type a bazillion emojis, that's how it sounds, and it's hell for them. So don't do that. But anyway, the California class is coming. I know I can confirm that without giving too much away. When and where and how, I cannot. But we are working on it, obviously. Yeah. All right. Will these pets be able to keep up with its carrier and not die? Well, they just did in the Argala run I did, so hopefully.
Also, I mean, the console in this specifically makes them less prone to die because it makes them untargetable while it's active.
Yeah. Baron Bob Blitzkrieg, will all squadron pets use the same tech eventually? Some of them still use single pet tech. So as we're going, if we go back and upgrade a type of fighter to be a squadron fighter, we will also leave the single pet tech alone, just in case people prefer that. So there will be two versions of those fighters when we do that. We did it for some of the older pets.
I think we have a runabout squadron.
Yeah.
We have an older runabout as well.
Yeah.
But our goal is that if we make a squadron version of an existing pet, they should both be equally effective as one another. It should just be a vanity, like a visual choice, nothing else.
Yeah. Can this have the Jem'Hadar attack ships as a pet? I don't think those are limited to a particular type of ship, are they?
I don't remember. Those might be limited to Jem'Hadar ships only.
Okay, I know Scorpion fighters aren't, which someone else was asking about, because I
Right.
used those on my Jem'Hadar ship, so you could definitely use those here. Steggy 2012 wants to know what the next bundle is or ships for the C-store, like a tease or a small hint. How do you know there's a bundle? No one said anything about a bundle. Jeremy, did you say anything about a bundle?
I mean, in the past, we usually put out a bundle shortly after our anniversary updates, don't we?
No, that's crazy talk. We would never do that. Hector, what do you think? Do you think we'd ever put out a bundle?
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
All right. Well, let's see. I can't read the name. It's Casual SAB. Jeremy wants to know, will the changes to Focus Assault be carried over to other mark on target abilities like Concentrate Firepower?
Maybe not in the exact same way, but yeah, ideally, some sort of way that if two different players use the same power on a target, you should be able to get two benefits from that. Because we don't expect players to be voice chatting and timing their use of abilities. It's not that kind of a game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is something that I would like to see if we can improve in some way. Again, it might not be the exact same change that we made to Focus Fire, but something. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take a quick stop on the systems questions because Noodle Noggin 11A has given us a great example about my weekly speech about how to report bugs. Now, Noodle Noggin 11A has posted, "Fix our uniforms, please," all in caps with several exclamation points. Now, he or she is very excited and very desires for this bug to be fixed. However, he or she or they has given us zero information. We know that it affects uniforms. Mo, how many uniforms do we have in the game?
Millions.
That's right.
There's a lot.
If you count the individual pieces and the fact that a lot of them have to get
Yes.
copied to other species and
Yep.
things like that, yeah.
So the
You're
best
not off.
way to report a bug, if you're going to report it on the stream, be as specific as possible, but it's better to go to the forums and report it there and give a full detail on here's what's broken, here's what, if it's a uniform issue, it's here's what I'm wearing and what I'm wearing underneath it and what kind of species I am and what kind of gender I am, so that we can get all the information possible to try and fix it. As much information as you can get.
Just to piggyback a little bit too, if it is an art issue like a uniform thing, probably would be pictures would help a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So many pictures.
Yeah,
I
just
did-
give us all the information you can.
I didn't realize
Yep.
Kiri was watching. You're welcome for the shout out, Kiri. And thank you for all your help making the turrets look so cool.
Yeah.
Fragrance-free Vaseline. I am not hitting on you today. We'll see how the night takes us. Immediately fired. Let's see. Chat questions are coming in so fast. Trexpert, sorry I didn't get fan art in today because I was rushing. Because I've got a lot to do.
We had 2 ships to show off, man. Busy.
Yeah. TCGM, no, I don't mean go report it on Reddit. Some of the developers read Reddit, but all of us who deal with reporting bugs read the forums. And the Reddit, somebody messaged me today, and I felt so bad. They got banned from the STO subreddit, and were talking about how, well, I'm not sure what I did wrong, and, here's an example of what I did. Can you please help? And I had to be like, so that's not an official thing. That's fan run. We go there sometimes, but we have no power over what they do or
And the folks
why
that,
they do
that
it.
run that place, who are very busy and very dedicated volunteers, they have no business connections with Cryptic whatsoever or Perfect World.
Yeah.
They're their own thing.
Yep. What do each of us like best individually about this new Alliance ship? I think it's pretty. Jeremy, go.
I like that despite its size, it's very maneuverable. But of course, the systems designer will focus on its stats.
Hector, go.
Flowy lines. I like how everything flows.
Yeah. Mo, go.
It's all the line work, and also show them the underbelly. It's something that most people don't see, but it's beautiful underneath too.
All right, let's look underneath. Oops.
You can see
Oh,
it
it
has
is
a
beautiful.
two-layer-
Oh, that
it
might
has
be my
a
favorite view
two-layer
of the
thing
ship.
happening under.
Let me take off the Vanity shield so we can see it as she originally was designed. Oh, that is actually might be my favorite view of the ship that I've seen so far. That is gorgeous.
There's a lot of detail underneath too.
Let's see. Josh Mall wants to know what the teaser that I posted on Twitter a few days ago was about. And the answer is none of you have figured it out yet. None of you have even come close, which I love. I love so much, because usually I post things and y'all figure them out in seconds. But everybody's focusing on the wrong things, and it's great. I got a Teams message from Al, because he thought I was teasing this ship, and he was like, oh, the players are so smart, they figured it out in a half a second. And I'm like, no, they didn't. They haven't figured out anything.
And neither did Al.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a question in chat, sorry, I forget who it was from, about squadron tech being used on ground at all. Our current applications of this are very much limited to starships. It's basically a very complex skeleton, or sometimes we call them animation rigs, of multiple independent things that can be turned on and off and work in conjunction with a central controller. We don't have an application for that on ground right now. If we ever had a reason to do it, like, I don't know, a swarm of bugs or like a swarm of exocomps or something like that, then we could look into developing it. But we don't have an application use right now. No use case.
Person who was reporting the bird of prey hangar pet bug over and over. I have passed that on to QA. They will look into it. Thank you for letting us know. All right. Thank you, Synth Scanner. We really appreciate it. I agree that I think everybody who works on this game is insanely talented and insanely passionate about it, and doesn't get enough credit for all the work they do. Augie loves ships. Yes, I agree. All right. Gaves wants to know how you're getting a video signal out of the Nukarl Nebula, or Mukarl, whatever it is.
This is
the Nebula
Argala.
from Wrath of Khan. Oh, so there you go. You're good. All right. So, folks, I am going to say thank you very much to all of our guests and find us someone to raid. It has been great having all of you on the show, and thank you for sharing your wisdom with us and showing us the inner workings of these ships. Very much to all of our guests, and
I wonder if at some point we can show off some of the rejected designs for some of these ships that Hector does.
Oh, I love doing that.
I mean,
I
even
don't
the
know if they
rejected
had
ones
enough
are
time.
sometimes great, but also sometimes they're just hilarious.
Yeah, I have a bunch here.
All right. Well, we've got a huge amount of viewers. So wait, is he ending the stream?
It'll really be in combat.
No.
But, oh,
So tonight I'm going to send it over to Endeavor because he's always streaming our game. Yeah, we had like 1,000 people watching tonight, which is amazing. Thank you, folks. Wrong thing. But it has been a pleasure chatting with everybody about the game. I hope you've all had a fun time learning about this stuff. And we will see you. I know my brain is braining. And we will
Sorry,
see you
Mike,
all.
we have VODs of this, right? Because there's a lot of people that
Yes.
said they've missed the Viridian.
Yep.
So
VODs will be up here, and I will be exporting it to YouTube right now. And yeah, cool. Well, thank you, folks. It has been a pleasure, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.